Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line, Mannie Fresh.
Fresh. What's up, my brother? First of all, how you and your family, man, during this nut ass quarantine
Man,
time?
everybody's good, bro. Everybody's blessed. I hope the same for y'all. I hope everybody's doing well over there.
What city are you quarantined in right now?
I'm in New Orleans.
Oh, you in New Orleans? You at home?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, how did the battle come about? I know everybody was talking about this battle, you and Scott Storch. How did that battle come about?
I was asked to do it at the very last minute, and me just being the battle dude, I was just like, hey, I'm in, but it really came about because it was something that I was doing way before them. If you do the history of it, I was doing Beat Summit, and Beat Summit was maybe 4 or 5 years prior to this even happening. But it was producers against producers with catalog. So, nobody told me the rules changed or nothing like that. So, I was pretty much asked at the last minute, and I joined in and went about it the same way I went about when I was doing it before.
I felt like you got jumped, Manny. I felt like it was you versus Scott Storch, Dr. Dre, Timbaland, Mailman, and whoever else collaborated on them 6 records.
Yeah, because the problem is that there's really no rules right now. So what do you think the rules should be?
I mean, if it's hip hop, then it's got to be hip hop. If it's somebody who, I guess, the type of beat that I do, I was told that it was a hip hop beat battle. I didn't know it was the R&B beat battle. And Crimea River against Mannie Fresh. Real talk. And I'm 100% with Charlamagne. Like, I feel like I was like me, Dr. Dre, Timbaland. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I didn't know I was going against all of them people. I thought it was my catalog against this catalog.
But you forgot a couple of joints, Mannie Fresh. There was a couple of joints that you didn't play, man.
You left 5 on the table. I thought you should have played. Number one stunner,
boy.
Big. I don't know about what happened to that boy because I don't know if he did that. But number one stunner, Big Ballin', Set It Off, Juvenile on Fire. Why'd you leave those on the table? And Cash Money is an Army, better yet, a Navy.
If you really want to know, honestly, this is what I feel like. There are moments and there are movements. And what I'm saying is, I think, not no shots at none of the records that he played, but I think there was moments. You know what I'm saying? Those were songs where, you played for a summer or something, and somebody was just like, I remember that song. It was cool. A movement is when you play a song and it's still going on 20 years later, and everything sounds like that song. Music sounds like that song. Everything last year sounded like Mannie Fresh DNA. Everything going into this year sound like Mannie Fresh DNA. So I just thought, like, I was like, okay, all of these songs, could I have went harder? Of course. But I still feel like, some of them songs, like, I just don't feel that, dude. And it ain't nothing salty. And I feel like this. I could have lost 19 times out of the 20. But when you play Back That Ass Up and you do a draw on that song, I'm just like, oh, man.
That's ridiculous.
It don't feel right.
Yeah, Back That Ass Up is a Negro spiritual.
It is. Now, has your phone been ringing like crazy because people actually forgot how many records you produced? Like, because even playing some of the songs, I'm like, damn, he produced that. I forgot about that. How's your phone been ringing crazy?
Oh, yeah, dude. And the cool thing about the beat battle, though, it made another generation actually understand. Like, they like, wait, dude did all of that? Like, all of that him? And it's just like, yeah, all of that.
Now, I got to go back to a question, though.
You saw what Just Blaze wrote on Instagram? He said, you take Kanye away and you don't have a certain era and sound of Rockefeller, but the label still exists. You take Mannie Fresh away and you have no Cash Money. So how did you feel when you were reading all of those comments and what other people were saying about you?
Yeah, listen, bro, what I really love, a lot of people came to, they fought for it. Like, a lot of people, it was articles wrote and all kind of stuff. So that's the beautiful thing about hip-hop. If somebody feel like something ain't right, some people going to say, like, all right, dude, come on. And you had some people who felt like, even with some of my skits, they was like, man, you took a low blow at him. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I consider dude a friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think of everybody that said something crazy about somebody. And I'm like, and if he would have done the history of it, like, he would have known that all of that go with the beat battle. Anything in hip-hop is kind of a battle. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I called Scott myself the next morning, and I was like, hey, homie, I feel like this. You know, a lot of people are upset about some of the skits or whatever, and I'm like, I apologize, bro, if I went too hard on you. And his reply was, listen, bro, I got to own up to all that. I know I'm going to hear that stuff.
Now, listen, we talked about this for a second, but you still didn't tell us. Why didn't you play Number One Stunner or Big Ballin'?
I didn't think it was necessary.
Set it off?
Go ahead.
Set it off? Juvenile on Fire?
I didn't think it was necessary. I'm just being real. I'm listening to the songs he playing because I felt like it was a category of what we were supposed to be doing, and he didn't stick to the category.
Okay. Mannie Fresh, did you think you won the battle?
Yeah, hell yeah, I do. Because if you told me it was a beat battle, a hip-hop beat battle, I'm going, well, how did some of these songs show up? And on top of that, some of these songs, let's just address it. Some of these songs you didn't do.
Okay, Jesse. Now listen, Scott. I saw Scott on a live with Fat Joe, and he was saying that he felt like I was disrespecting him when I said that. I wasn't disrespecting him. It's just as a fan growing up, I thought Dr. Dre did those records. So I just wonder how much credit should a Scott Storch get if Dr. Dre gets the credit? Because what if Dr. Dre does a beat battle? Can he play those records?
Well, what I'm saying is, now y'all feel me on this. If that was the case and that was the rules and that's how it was gonna go, well, why shouldn't I have played Beyonce before I let go? Like, you know what I'm saying? They had to clear that song to use it for me. If we was gonna use songs like, you know, that came from a sip, like, you know what I'm saying? I could have played Chris Brown Wobble. You know, I could have went deep, like, you know what I'm saying, this year from songs that was, you know, that I'm like, okay, if we playing songs that came from a sip, but I stuck to the rules of these are songs that Mannie Fresh produced.
Right.
You didn't ever feel at some point during the battle, like
the beginning of it, the getting ready. I did that beat.
Oh,
yeah,
got you.
So did you feel like changing it up in the middle? Like, okay, I'm gonna start doing that too, since he's going ahead and using stuff that he was on or that he didn't necessarily produce. Did you feel like, okay, I'm about to start pulling that out also?
Yeah, no, I stuck to the rules. That's what I'm saying. I played my song. I still stuck to the rules. Okay,
right.
But I'm going, okay, so is it a new day in town? Like, is there something going on? Like, you know, where I'm like, okay, I guess that's cool, you know? But me, personally, I was like, I'm going to stick to songs that I done. I'm not going to play something that, well, you know what, this is something that I played on, or this is something that I co-produced, you know, and I'm just like, nah, these are songs that Mannie Fresh done.
You think he should have gotten disqualified?
I mean, what do you think? Like, you know, that's
I don't think he should have gotten disqualified, but I do question those five records that Dr. Dre gets credit for. Like, Let Me Blow Your Mind, you know, The Watcher, and on the album it says Mailman produced The Watcher. You know what I'm saying? The Break Your Neck, the Busta Rhymes record. There was two other records. Yeah. Family Affair. I can't remember what the other one was, but it's like, yeah, I don't know how much credit he should get for those.
You know, my feeling is this, and it's not nothing to take away from nobody because I feel like we two grown men. And in hip-hop, it always gets diluted a lot of times, and people go way too far with it because it was a beat battle. I'm not a salty loser. And, you know, hats off to Scott if the world thinks he won. You know, the next day, Mannie had business to do, and I'm going to keep it that way. But I just feel like this. They got to do a better job of putting this together. I think that I should have went against another beat maker.
I think you knew though. I think you knew because you had it planned out. I mean, you knew he was going to play a bunch of R&B, so you had the R&B skit. You had it planned out. You knew what his attack was going to be.
I went through his catalog, but I also knew that I'm like, okay, the rest of this is not yours. That's part of being prepared. Like, you know what I'm saying? I went through his catalog to say, like, okay, because, like I said, I've done this before. I've done this with Just Blaze. I did this with Toot. I did this with KLC, and this was prior to, you know, me even doing this or even with them doing this. I was doing this a long, long time ago. And part of it was to go through whoever you battle, and you got to know, like, what's they, you know, like, okay, what's their strong points? What's the ones that, some of them songs I never even put on the radar.
Right.
Now what happened to that boy with Pharrell? Did you collaborate on that? Because I saw people saying you did the drums.
I did a drum pattern on that, but I wouldn't even consider that something that I done because my name not on that. When we was doing that song, I hit Pharrell and said, "Hey, bro, I think it's just missing some drums, like a." He was like, "Add it, bro. Do what you want to do." So I wouldn't even consider that something that that I should play.
No, you could have played that because Scott played records that he played the keys on. So you could have played that if you had drums to what happened to that boy. You could have played that.
Now with the battle, people talk a couple of things. One, Lil Wayne. Who could Lil Wayne battle? And two, who would you love to just see battle outside of Lil Wayne?
Oh wow, Pharrell and maybe Kanye. And I think a lot of when we talking about MCs, that's what you mean right now?
Yep.
Damn, Lil Wayne. Woo, man. Dang. I don't know, bro. Who like I guess the art of MCing is kind of it's fading. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really know, bro, because I'm thinking of Wayne, his age range right now. Like, that's something that y'all probably can help me out with. Who in Wayne's age that, I think that's nice right now.
I don't even know how old Wayne is. How old is Wayne?
But
late 30s, early 40s? I don't know. He's been around so long.
What about Lil Wayne versus forget age? What about Lil Wayne versus Drake, since they both have so many hits?
Oh yeah, that would be beautiful. That right there.
Let me ask you a question. When you look at other producers, Manny, and how they have collaborated with other producers, do you feel like you'd be appreciated more if you'd have done more of that, collaborating with other producers?
I don't, bro. I just feel like this. Right now, we living in some sensitive times. Like the good guys finished last and the crybabies went. You feel what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I have always been kind of, I guess, modest about it. And I don't say nothing, but I'm learning now. Like, it's like, nah, dude, the truth is the truth. I'm like, it wasn't even about collaborating with nobody or whatever. I just think coming from where I come from down south, we just don't get the credit that we deserve. Because it's just like I said, I got songs that they play right now. They've been playing for 20 years, and they still in DJ sets. And I say this right now wholeheartedly. Like, I don't care, like, who I beat battle against. Sometimes what I care about, I'm asking the DJ, like, right now, if you're doing the set. Like, if you're doing the set right now, you know what I'm saying? Right. Whose records are in your thing?
Yeah, I definitely play Project Chick. I definitely play Back That Ass Up. I definitely play And Then What with Jeezy. Yeah, I definitely play a lot of Cash Money.
You're gonna play some. You'll play a little. You'll play some Storch too, though. You'll play Storch. You'll play Lean Back.
Lean Back.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at, you play Make It Rain.
I'm not saying that about none of his songs. I'm not saying it that way. I'm just saying what records are still in your crate. What records are you still playing right now? And that's what, to me, that's what defines a good producer. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're still one of them people who like, wow, like we still checking for this dude.
I think the beauty of Back That Ass Up is, and Back That Ass Up is turned into a record that you play at weddings, that you play at receptions, like you play at old folks parties. Like that is really a record that plays at every black function.
That's the only thing I'm saying. That's my only gripe right there. Like I said, I could take the L. I can live with the L. But what I really feel, I was like, wait, that one, like, every producer got one of them where they like, nah, bro, that one right there.
Right. Yeah, because there's only a couple of records that live that life. Like, Poison, of course, BBD is that record. Back That Ass Up is that record. I'm trying to think of another one. Not too many.
Mm-hmm. Mannie Fresh, to switch gears real quick, how's your family doing and how is everybody, all your friends and everything in New Orleans?
Everybody's healthy. Of course, y'all already know what's going on with New Orleans, so it's just awareness. Like, I know it's a little crazy because New Orleans is a party town, and, and a lot of times, like, it's crazy that people not getting the seriousness of this. And, on Fridays and Saturdays, I'm DJing. I'm like, stay home. Please stop going out. That's the only way we're going to slow this down because per capita, you already know New Orleans numbers staggering. Like, it's getting crazy around here. But everybody that's near and dear to me so far is safe. And, hope and pray it stays that way. And, I'm sending that back to y'all.
Now, Manny, my phone had disconnected. I had a couple more questions for you. I just wanted to know why didn't you do more production outside of Cash Money?
I guess, by the time I left Cash Money, I did DZ, I did T.I., and I kind of, it was already, like, I guess, known to a lot of people, like, nothing really left out of Cash Money. So a lot of people didn't think they could reach out to me. Like a lot of people thought it was off limits to be like, well, Mannie just do Cash Money. He don't do no, nothing outside of Cash Money. So a lot of people assume that I wouldn't even do those songs. Like, but I was down to do whoever wanted it.
Now, how did the Jeezy collab happen? Because I see you do the Jeezy collab. How did that happen?
Well, that was me being in Atlanta. At the time when I left Cash Money, I was in Atlanta. So being in Atlanta, that's why I became Jeezy. That's why I became T.I. And I think like right around that too was the decline of the super producer. So on, I would say at the height of what I was doing, it was like me, Timbaland, Pharrell, other producers, Jazzy or whatever, and the money that we was getting was crazy or whatever. And, and then the new set of producers started coming in and, those numbers went down. So a lot of it was, nobody was like, I don't know if I'm going to pay that much for a beat.
Do you think that help or hurt you just being an in-house producer? Because even with the battle with Scott Storch, people were like, well, all he worked with is Cash Money. And I'm like, okay, and?
Nah, I don't think that hurt at all because me even just working with Cash Money, let's look at it like this. I think I got James Brown numbers. I got almost 600 songs published. Like, and I'm like, find somebody else right now in hip-hop, that's got 600 songs that's published. Like, I did albums. I didn't do songs. Like, I think like a lot of it is a lot of producers are, single-driven. I grew up in the era of like the producer had to do the album, so it wasn't a bad thing for me to work with Cash Money and just Cash Money because I was responsible for the whole album.
What's the most you got for a beat? Because you said you were getting a lot of money. What's the most that you got for a record?
I know I did some Tony Braxton songs where it might have been 50, 60 grand.
Mm-hmm. Was there ever a time when artists on Cash Money used to argue over who would get which beat from you?
No, because when we was working on albums in Cash Money, it was like a team of people that was working on that one song. And I never, ever felt like one song was greater than the other one. I just felt like my job was like, that's a good beat, but you could make one better than that. So that was my approach to everything that I did. So, and I knew some beats were better than others and some of them had more appeal, but I also was never like, I'm stuck right now. Tomorrow I can't make a better beat. My thing was like, oh, this was cool, but tomorrow is going to be something bigger and better than that.
Right. No, but did the artist ever say, I want this beat, and then maybe Juvenile wanted it, Wayne wanted it, and they was kind of going back and forth with each other, and then you had to pick who would get the beat?
We did have those. Yeah, they did have those arguments sometimes about who that beat belonged to and who was supposed to get that one. Like, we definitely had that a lot of times, but it always panned out because it was just like, if Juvie wanted a beat and it was Wayne's song, I'm like, hey, we working on Wayne, but next week we're going to be working on you, Juvie, and I'm going to go just as hard.
Now, Envy asked you what's the most you ever got for a beat, and you said 50, 60 grand from Tony Braxton. That don't seem like a lot of money. Was that like the discount because that was a Birdman girl?
Money back then, dude. That was a lot
60
of money.
grand?
Like, you think about it. Yeah, because if you get like 50, 60,000 up front and you get, you know what I'm saying, most of the publishing on the record or whatever, that's okay. Compared to right now.
And that was a Birdman girl back then, Charlamagne.
Yeah. You go on a record company right now and try to get 50 grand, man. Dude, they gonna say that is the artist's budget. They'll tell you like, that's the whole budget for the album.
Now, I asked you earlier. I think I got cut off though. When you look at other producers and how they collaborated with other producers, do you feel like you should have done more of that?
I'm open. I was open to it, but I was good with where I was. Like, and I think even my relationship with a lot of people, like, I think I'm cool as a fan with everybody. And and if you wanted to work with me, I would have worked with you. When Jazzy Faye came on with Cash Money, we worked on everything. So anybody that wanted to work, I was always there. I was always down to work. I think even real talk, a lot of my best music is probably on my drive. Like, the songs that people don't hear because I do so much music because I love this, but when it became a point where I can't get it across to artists, like right now, I probably got 3 or 4 computers full of beats, but the business is not right now.
Somebody told me that you got a whole album with Mos Def.
Yeah, I do. I got an album with Mos, I got an album with Wayne, I got a couple of songs with like a lot of greats, but I'm this guy too. If that artist don't agree, I'm not somebody who would leak that song.
Right.
Now,
Wow.
when you talked about business, when did you start getting the business part right? Because I'm sure when you was doing all those records, it was more like, oh, we all family, we all friends. And then it has to be to the point where like, damn, I got to make sure my business is right.
Well, I just started seeing a whole lot of people coming up with stuff around me. I was just like, well, my face is buried in this drum machine and on these keyboards, and I'm just like, it's a brand new, it's a whole bunch of brand new stuff outside. Like, and I'm doing this, for the love of it, which I didn't mind because it wouldn't be a Mannie Fresh if it was material to me, but I also felt like I'm supposed to get paid for this. Like, it's
Right.
like, wow, I'm looking at all of this, happening, and I'm just like, the numbers are not adding up. And luckily for me, you know what I'm saying, I had structure, you know what I'm saying? I had a dad that grew up in music that was just like, hey, dude, look, you got to get this right. You got to look at long term. Like, and I would honestly say right now in my career, I've made more money than I ever made because I clear songs all the time. I own the songs, and that was the best thing I could have done, to go back and say, like, listen, I want my catalog. I want all of those songs that I've done, and I feel like later on in life they're going to be valuable. And, like, right now they're valuable.
They gave you
The
your
cash
whole
money-
catalog back, no problems, or you had to pay for it.
Yeah, no problem, because, it was part of, like, listen, we could fight this out, or we could just say, like, hey, bro, it's time. As men, if you respect me, I respect you. Like, what we going to do? Like, if you can't give me all of this, then you're going to have to give me something. So we wind up we ended it on like, hey, bro, you can have the song.
So Cash Money never did you dirty. We always hear the stories about, Birdman getting over on certain artists.
Well, I would definitely say like the deal wasn't that, but I was somebody who always knew that the music, like I knew the music was gonna come back around.
Mm-hmm.
I knew like sooner or later, I'm like, this music is gonna come back around. Whoever controls this music is gonna be in a good seat.
But at the time, you didn't get the money.
No.
He said he seen the cars outside and everything outside was like, I ain't got none of that. And I'm doing a lot of these beats. I need this back.
How you do that to Mannie though? Like Just Blaze said, there is no Cash Money without Mannie Fresh's sound. You were the sound of Cash Money. How they don't pay you?
Well, I think this is what it is, bro. A lot of times, with business, especially record company business, the record company is the cousin to the street. And by being a cousin to the streets, this is what happens. A lot of people take street mentalities over to the record company, especially if it was a company that was started on the streets. And it's just like, when you just stepped into this business arena, the streets got to stay where the streets stay at. This is business. So a lot of it is, it's just not understanding that the same thing you did out there, you can't do in here.
What's your current relationship with Birdman and just Cash Money in general?
We get along, bro. It's a whole lot better. We get along, and I felt like it was time anyway, because it's just like my kids know his kids, and I'm just like, I'm not a bitter person. On top of that, I feel like when you gripe and you fight with somebody, you give them that energy. I'm not somebody who will give somebody some energy to just be like, oh, I don't think I would have succeeded if I was mad at Baby. I don't think I would be here right now doing this interview if I stayed mad at Baby or something, for something or whatever. I just feel like, you know what it is? You live, you forgive, and you keep it moving.
Right. And why didn't that Mos Def album ever come out?
It was Mos. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right now, if any of y'all know Mos, where is Mos?
Yasin Bey.
We don't know where he's at.
I always say Mos because that's what I know him from.
Yeah.
But, Mos comes in and, he'll call, like, he might call right after this interview and say, like, hey, bro, let's finish this. And then you don't hear from him.
Damn, I heard you say you want to do something with Jay Electronica too.
Yeah, bro. Jay has been, the dude for forever, and I'm a fan of his. Like, and I always thought, like, Jay is he is the type of rapper that I think it needs to be produced. It needs to be produced for it to be a really, really good album. And you hear some people and you just like, damn, bro, if I could just get in with him. I've always been a fan of his. So I think, like, it would make me go hard. And my best work is when somebody you know, when they challenge me on something. Like if you're a writer and you're a rapper and I feel like, oh, my beat ain't strong enough, I'm gonna redo that beat over.
Right.
You know, a lot of what Juvie was saying. He was like, when we was working on his albums, you know, he would leave the studio and he would come back the next day and he was like, that ain't the song we was doing, because I felt like some of his raps was killing my beat. So I stayed up the whole night going, well, I got to come up with another beat to make this better.
Wow.
Well,
what about the Lil Wayne album you said you said no?
He's working on some new music right now, so you could definitely get in with him. Well, virtually.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even Lil Wayne, I think the fans want at least one before we all say goodbye to this. It's just produced by Mannie Fresh and it's Lil Wayne. So I think that would definitely be a great album,
right.
you know, and believe me, I stay on Wayne about it. I'm like, listen, dude, like I love all the stuff that you're doing, but let's sit down and do a good one, just me and you.
I mean, you said you got a bunch with him now, though, right?
Yeah, I got a bunch of songs with him, and some of it is, you know, because it's always me. Like, I've never had a song ever leak in my whole career. I've never had a song that I've done with somebody ever leak or anything that got in the wrong hands. So if Wayne don't agree with it, then I'm not going to put that song out. You know, as much as tempting as it is a lot of times, because you're like, damn, bro, come on. And a lot of it, you know, like some of them songs that I got right now with Wayne, it was just out of frustration because of the deal that happened. And, you know, and he was saying some stuff on them. So he was just like, now that, you know, he's in a better space, in a better place, like, nah, dude, I really don't want them songs to come out because I just don't want to deal with the repercussions of it.
There was a lot of diss records to Cash Money, basically.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so it's more of, he was just like, I'm over that. It was just me airing out, and, you know, and I'd rather not have that out there. So, you know, just out of respect, I'm going to respect his wishes and not put them out.
Gotcha.
Now, before we get out of here, I got one last question. What would you do different in the Scott Storch battle today? Because I still feel like you left 5 records on the table you should have played, Mannie. You could have been a little bit more structured.
I feel you.
With how you let them records fly.
But this is the problem, too, Charlamagne. With me, because the catalog is so much, it's like, you know, believe me, I've had 100 people call me and said a different song that said, you should have played this, you should have played this, you should have played this. And sometimes, bro, me as a producer, I really don't go like, damn, yeah, I should have played that, Because sometimes I don't even realize how many songs I've done to say, like, damn, I did pass that song up. I didn't play that song. So that's what it was. Like, it wasn't like I was just like, well, damn, you know, why didn't you play this song? Why didn't you play Set It Off or whatever? I'm just like, I have so many records sometimes where I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed, where I have to sit down, you know, and say, like, right now, if I'm going to do this again, I need to put a strong 20. Like, look at everything that I've done and say, okay, these are the strong 20.
Got you.
Going like, you know, like these are, and I ain't gonna even lie, a lot of that was Mannie Fresh favorites. Instead of me going like, yeah, you should have went to like, man, go get him with this one, hit him with that one,
right?
You know. But I even felt like the Mannie Fresh favorites was still songs that did numbers, and that was crazy.
Right. Yeah, I don't think anybody lost in that battle. I think it's a celebration of 2 great producers. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's no losers when they do them versus battles.
And that's what I really want to get across to, especially a young generation. Bro, there is no beef with me and this man. There is no animosity or none of that. It was just celebration. If I lost, so be it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still living. It was just a big battle. You know what we moved on to bigger and greater things. I wish Scott success in everything that he do, and Mannie Fresh gonna keep on going. But
all right.
I just know this. In order for me to be at my best, I have to paint the picture the way I want to paint the picture. Nobody can step in and say, like, nah, bro, you shouldn't do it that way, because that's not the way the world want to hear it. That's not the way a certain group of people want to hear it. And even that kind of stuff will make you stay away from music sometimes, because even right now, if I'm in a studio with somebody younger, like a lot of times it becomes like, you know, somebody that's on the other, like one of their friends might say, well, you know, he shouldn't say that, bro. And I'm just like, well, does this dude make records? You let your friend dictate the session. And when it becomes that, I don't even want to do it.
Gotcha. Well, we appreciate you for checking in, brother. And thank you so much.
And when this quarantine over, you got to come to the studio.
Man, I definitely will. Bro. Y'all stay prayed up, dude. I know sometimes, you know, and I heard you talking a second ago, and I know sometimes a lot of us question it or whatever, but at the same time, bro, we going to make it through this, man. There's a higher power. You know,
Absolutely.
stay prayed up, though. You know, believe in God or whatever you believe in or whatever, but stay prayed up and stay hopeful, and we're going to make it through this.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Love.
It's Mannie Fresh. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.